everybody, I'm Joey Evans.
Hey, I'm Tom Vasel. And today we're taking a look at Tales of the Arthurian Knights. In 2000, what was the year here? In 2009, the second edition of Tales of Arabian Nights came out. It's actually an 85 game.
Wow.
But the second edition came out, and I was so entranced by it. And then I was told by the company, maybe that year or the year after, they're like, we're going to make an Arthurian Knights one. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So 15 years later,
It's insane.
the game finally came out. It took so long. Of course, it jumped. It wasn't at WizKids originally. It was Z-Man. So there's some changes, but still, it took so long. And part of that is because this is a storytelling genre, and there's paragraphs of story, and they have to make everything work out. But it wasn't 15 years. I don't think George R. R. Martin was involved in the Tales of Arthurian Knights.
No, that
would still be too fast for him. But
I agree. It's a lot of content, but still, that's a long time.
Alrighty, so this is a storytelling game. You're one of King Arthur's knights or dames, and Joey's gonna show you how to play it, and we'll be right back.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we are set up for a game of Tales of Arthurian Knights here. Now, there's a lot going on this, so I've got the camera kind of zoomed out so you can see the entire board. We're set up for 2 players here. Again, this is going to be a very quick overview. It's not going to be a full rules teach, but just I want to give you a kind of a feel of the way the game plays. So, first off, let's go through. Pretty much this game is going to be the length you can decide by doing 1 age, 2 age, or 3 ages. So you've got 4, 8, or 12 turns there. And you're going to put your marker right here. The whole thing, the way you win the game is by destiny points. You're going to get these by decisions you make along the way. First off, you choose your character. We've got these 2 characters out. There's a slew of other characters you can have here. So there is a lot of variety as far as that goes. Now let's take a look at the player boards. You're going to set up here. These are your skills. You'll notice the skills here have different colors. You've got martial, spiritual, courtly, wilderness. You're going to have different skills. You start off with 3 skills that you're fairly good at now. For example, right here, we've got enduring hardship, wisdom, and mounted. So any of those skill checks we have to do, we add a +1. We can do any other skill check, but we don't get any benefit. It's all a +0. And Lancelot here has 3 different ones. Also, everyone gets a starting quest. You'll get other quests later in the game. But for the starting quest, let's see if we can get this to zoom in on here. This is Bandits in the Mountains. Setup is place your quest markers on every mountain in the region of Cambria. And I've already done that here. So all of these quest markers relate to this. And also Lancelot has some as well. Hunt the wild boar. His are going to take place here in the forests. All right. So again, when you do this encounter, what it says when you get that, when you reach each location, have a standard encounter, which we'll go to in a moment, and then remove your quest marker. When all 3 markers have been removed, the bandits are overthrown. Then you gain 1 destiny, which is the victory points we talked about before, and then 1 martial skill of your choice. Now, what is that martial skill? We'll take a look. Red here is martial, meaning mounted can go ahead and go up to +2 if you want, or you can gain a different martial skill, which you've got the other ones here. Some of the martial skills are like sword and shield, which Lancelot has, so you have your choice as far as where you want to go. Be a jack of all trades, master of none, or kind of be a specialist in one. Okay, so pretty much let's just show you how the game is played. Everything is here. You've got your cards laid out. Let's go. First off, we're going to go ahead and move. We start in Camelot and move 3. 1, 2, 3. Just like that, we have hit our first place we want to go for our quest. We want to kind of accomplish this. But now we've got to go to an encounter. Now, I'm going to go briefly about the types of encounters. There are different types. Flip over the card, and this is a raging storm. All right? Now, we're in age 1, so this is what we have right here. So, Raging Storm, place this on top, and it is going to create a number. See this? All this, so age 1, and then the second part is a Raging Storm. Now it depends on where I am. Where am I? I'm here in a mountain, all right? So a mountain, I will look at 2230, and that's what I'm going to go to this book, the Book of Tales, and go to 2230. Now, before we do that, we will do that in a moment. I want to show you different types of encounters that can show up. So let's see here. Let's look through. All right, we've got Maiden. So say you decided, say this was drawn, Maiden. So what kind of Maiden? Well, that's when you're going to grab a feature card. Just like this. Oh, take a look. It is a Wise Maiden. So in this example here, you would then turn to 1412. And all of these features kind of vary. You can go to a wandering maiden, blessed maiden, cunning maiden, amorous maiden, mad maiden, and vengeful maiden. So that right there is going to be combined with this and give you another type of encounter. One other type of encounter is this location. Now, if you get these locations, you're going to drop a destiny token on there, and you need to go to this location to be able to find out what's going to happen, and that's kind of a quest just for you. And this is also the way you could enter a lot of these locations only if you have this. All right, so you are the only person that can go in there and fulfill this location. And there's going to be a story there as well. But the majority of them are going to be encounters like this or wandering people. So let's take a look again. We are at 2230. Let's take a look at 2230 in the book. All right, so I'm going to flip through here. Keep going, and now here we go. We go to 2230 right here. All right, so here you're going to read this up to a certain point, and then you're going to have a choice at the end. So let me read this for you. A gentle rain accompanies your journey through the highlands, but you spy a tremendous storm gathering atop a nearby mountain. Blinding lightning strikes the peak, revealing a fleeting vision of an object resting on top. As you adjust your eyes, you notice a small gathering of houses built against the side of the mountain. And from the large dwelling, a village elder approaches you. Greetings, knight. So pretty much you're going to go through that story here. Let's go to the very end here. We'll go to the last paragraph. As you consider a way to achieve the artifact, Hamish clears his throat. If I may impose, good knight. Our people are in need of aid, he says. When the storm arrives, so too appear all sorts of unsavory folk to seek the object. And when they fail to attain it, they vent their frustrations on us. Even now, a band of ruffians has set up camp nearby, hunting our land, stealing our crops, goes on. So then you get a choice here. You may attempt to reach the summit, or you may remain below to safeguard the villagers. Keep in mind, the person to your left is reading this, and they're going to give you that option. So which one? Well, you know what? This night, I think I can climb, so you may attempt to reach the summit. And it says 1853. So then you're going to flip back and find 1853. Okay, so here we are at 1853. You feel the call of destiny drawing you towards the mountaintop, and you cannot resist its summons. Here's another choice you have. You may use nature lore to find the most secure path up the mountainside, or you may use enduring hardship to abide the rigors of the upward spiring cave. So that's where you have the choice, nature lore or enduring hardship. You take a look at your character here, and let's see here. Nature lore we do not have, but here we have enduring hardship. So you can focus on this here. You've got enduring hardship right here, and that is a +1. So we're a bit better at that. Now, the person reading sees what you have to hit for each one. On nature lore, the person would have to hit a 3 plus the location number. Take a look. There's a 1, so it would be a 4. And that would make it either a success or a failure. And everything has a reward at the end. But then hardship here is a 4 they have to hit. So again, success or failure. So we decide to go with enduring hardship. We get to add a 1. Take a look. A 5 plus 1. And that would be a 6, so that is a success. So if you succeed, you're going to read all of this. It gives you a story of what happened. Again, I'm not going to ruin that. Then you gain 2 destiny, 1 wilderness skill of your choice, and 1 treasure. It's pretty good, right? So wilderness skill, of course, is a green. Move that up 1 or gain 1 by placing it on top of there. Treasures are pretty good. Treasures, take a look here. During the movement phase, let me get that focus. There we go. You may discard this to move any number of contiguous spaces connected by the sea for free. All right, so these treasures are pretty nice. They have different things to kind of help you along. You've got your harp, all of this here. And then, say you failed this on enduring hardship. Then, what's nice is you kind of fail forward on this. So although you're failing, you get to gain enduring hardship. So next time, you're going to be a bit better at that, right? So you move that up 1. But then you get a status effect, become mad. Now that is something we talked about in a second ago, but we didn't really go into it. Becoming mad is everyone has these status cards, all right? and they're in alphabetical order. So you're going to look for becoming mad. So here we go. Look down here for mad. There we go. So mad, this changes things. You cannot end your movement in a city. See if I can get that focus. There we go. During your turn, another player of your choice decides which skill or renown type you will use during quests and narrative results paragraphs. The person next to you decides what you do. You would have chosen nature, lore, or whatever. When you lose this status, gain one skill that you do not already possess. So you're going to do that. You're going to place this. This right here is going to go on the card. All right, so you're going to place this right here on the 0. And then at the beginning of your turn, during the status phase, you're going to slide it down to 1, to 2, and then finally when it goes off, when it shows no number, that status is gone. So this status is kind of finite. It only lasts for a couple of rounds. And that's a typical turn. You can keep going back and forth like this. Again, there are going to be different types of quests that you're going to be able to get. Again, I don't want to spoil a lot for you, but these are going to be similar to starting quests, which you have here, but they're going to give you different things to go and different ways to get either a treasure or a lot of your destiny points and things like that. So you're going to go through, and again, this is discarded. That's just age 1. Age 2 will be different, and then age 3. You're also at the end of the ages going to get different scoring. So you're going to gain destiny equal to your highest skill rank or your rank of renown. And then you're going to gain another quest and a skill. And then age 2 has different ways to gain destiny at the end. And at end of game for age 3, you're also going to get more points if you've gotten back to Camelot, which you're trying to get back to. And there are different ways to gain destiny there. And that's pretty much a quick overview. There's other type of mitigation you can have, do +1 statuses, things like that. There's also a Grand Quest variant that you can play. If you want some variety in here, they give you different Grand Quests you can play depending on what you want. And there's also a solo or co-op mode. But that is pretty much an overview of how you play Tales of the Arthurian Knights. Let's send it back and see what we thought about it.
If you can tell by the overview that Joey did, there's not a ton of strategy in this game.
There is not.
There's almost no strategy. You just move around and you make a gut decision.
Mm-hmm. And you can alter that. It's just pretty much
choose your own adventure.
That's it. That's what it is. So if you want strategy, this is obviously not the game.
With rolling dice. But it's not. Yes. Look, it's not like you're going to be like, I have these skills, so I'll go to this spot and do this thing. That's not going to happen. No. You might get lucky. You might be like, yes, it's a skill I have.
That's the thing. Going into it, initially, you're like, all right, I'm going to go here because probably these skills will benefit me there. It usually does not work out like that. It's like you'll be in the middle of the woods and you're like, you need whatever. You're just like, man. Yeah, so it's hard to gauge.
So let's talk about the storytelling.
Yep.
The writing, I think, is very well done.
It is.
There's a lot of good script there. There's a lot, though. If you're going to be reading this out loud to each other, there's a chunk of reading to be done.
There is a story. I mean, you have to obviously mention Arabian Nights when you talk about it, but the story is probably better written there. It's just pretty wordy. There's a lot going on. I think also sometimes it's not that it's more adult. I think the love things are usually a bit more adulty.
It's a little serious here.
It is.
I am impressed with how light this book is.
I agree.
For just lightweight paper.
Yep.
I do think it'd be a whole lot easier with an app.
Oh,
and
100%.
I know people don't want an app these days and everything, but just pressing a button rather than flipping through the book.
Yeah.
Now, the story, there's going to be a lot of comparing to Tales of Arabian Nights because they are similar games. Tales of Arabian Nights was just kooky. You were never sure. You'd run into an old man next to the road, and your choices were like, help him out, beat him, rob him, attack him, say hi. You had all these things, and it didn't matter what you picked. We're never sure.
Right.
This is more, usually they give you 2 or 3 choices. Mm-hmm. Like you see, a tiefling, not a tiefling. I'm making stuff up so I don't ruin the story. But you see some Scottish people. Do you shoot at them or do you?
Right. It's not linear, but you have a couple of ways to go. Now, the other thing, though, I think is also encounters, you get to the reading part quicker because I know in Arabian Nights, you had to roll, look, this chart, roll, then, we adjust up and down. This was pretty much, which one do you want to do? So that's a big thing. Also, they got rid of the night, day, and all that. There was a lot of they streamlined a lot.
Sure, and the way that the game has of you picking the stuff is fine. It's very nicely done. It's very easy. You will run into some same stories as time goes by, I think. But it does a pretty good job of that. Like I said, though, it takes itself more seriously. There's not a lot of comedy that I've found.
There's not. One thing, the statuses on this go away quicker, too. I don't know.
Oh, that's a great thing. The statuses have always been a big... I mean, it was funny to be, laying on the ground, beaten, and then you're being chased by someone who wants to marry you, and you're in jail and all this stuff. But here, they're going to go away.
They are. There. And then, that and the combination of the story and Destiny points, which I think I ended up doing anyway in the old one.
It's long. So keep that
Really
in mind. What does the box say? Because I think the box
probably
is gonna,
lies.
The box says 45 minutes per player. So
I don't
since
think.
you can split it into short, medium, and long game, which essentially do you want to play 1 era, 2 eras, or 3 eras, I would say it's about 90 minutes per era. Maybe that's a
I'd
little
say
long.
so.
Maybe 70, 80 minutes. But it's a long game. But here's the thing. I think you could play just 1 era and you're okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't get the full story. The end does have kind of an ending, but it's again, it's not like very like it still doesn't make sense a lot. Different stories.
Now, so whether you like the game or not, it's going to be divisive in that regard because how much Destiny do you want? Because the game is going to be like, la, da, 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 da. This is what happened to you, and you're like, okay, cool.
Right.
At no point in this game do I feel like I was in control of what was happening. Yes, I can pick where I move. I can go do this, and I get to make the decision. I will slap that deer.
Yeah.
I will pick the decision that I'm making, but I don't know if it's the right one or not until I find out what happens at the end.
Right, and then what's weird is on this one, it does take decisions like that more seriously. And in the original, it was just crazy and the chaos and all that. And this kind of got away with that with the whole fact that getting to choose what you do to that person or that animal, that's huge. You see a pool. Do you swim in it, drink it? You have all these different options, and you feel like you have more control. It ends up being chaos either way. But the story behind that, I think, it ended up being more than what I'd get out of this. That does seem more along the lines of a very choose-your-own type thing. Mice, Mystics, things like that.
Yeah, it's a serious choose-your-own adventure.
Yeah.
It's very well done.
Yeah.
The biggest disadvantages are it's long. It's not a cheap game.
No.
It's not a light game. Even with that book being light, it's still kind of hefty. And I think I would love to play this with kids, but I would worry they would get bored with the verbose writing.
And they would.
So what would you give it?
That's where I was. Even when I was playing this for the overview, I was like, I'm going to read the whole thing. And I was like, that's a lot. So I just kind of did the first and the last. Here's the thing. I think this is a better game than Arabian Nights. I think it's streamlined. They fixed a lot of the problems. They got rid of the night, all that. But I think it misses some of the charm that I think the original Arabian Nights had, because every story I have, you have certain things that happen. You're like, oh, I loved this. This, it's a more of a serious. Will serious gamers like it? I don't know, because it's still a choose your own adventure. I come in at a 6 on this. I like it. I think it's good, but it is very you're just reading. It's a lot of reading, and honestly, I guess it's 45 minutes, but there are plays that I've had that are 3 to 4 hours of this, and that just seems to be a lot.
Well, I'm way higher than Joey. I'm a 6.5.
Ooh, he loves it.
It's almost there, and it's the exact same reason. This is a better game design than Tales of Arabian Nights.
Much.
But if you ask me which one I'm going to play, I'm going to play Tales of Arabian Nights because we laughed and had such a hilarious time playing that game to see what happens.
Yep.
Yes, it needed to have house rules. Yes, there was some kooky stuff. Yes, you almost never saw those cool things. And in this game, they make sure that you see the cool things. The place of wonder. This is just better in every way, but it lacks the charm.
I agree.
But that doesn't necessarily make it bad. There's going to be a lot of people who will enjoy this.
Yes.
I would, honestly, the only thing keeping me from, I would give it a 7. It's just too long.
Yes.
And there's not a real good way to stop it. We were playing a 4-player game, and I remember thinking, Well, I guess my turn will come around at some point because turns could be 5-10 minutes per player.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, if you look at the number of turns you get over the course of the game, they're not that many.
No.
But they're long and involved, and if you're soloing it, great. But if you're playing multiple players... So it's kind of a weird one because it sounds like we're coming down on it a lot, and I don't mean to be because the quality is good, the writing is good, it's all good, but it's not particularly fun.
Right.
What a weird thing. I mean, it is fun, but it feels like it could have been funner.
Right. It could have been, I like some chaos in it.
So, anyway, that's Tales of Arthurian Knights. Might be for you. Check it out. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Joey Evans.
We'll see you next time.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.